מדברות הולכות, תקוואק, פודקאסט, talk show that come to make you your own mentor with I, Weinberg, the daughter, Sandra Weinberg, the mother, and our amazing guest, Yacobovich. Okay, before I'm going to let you to say what, kama velama, I will say that today the episode is part 2 of the Lazy Investor's Guide. We're going to speak about real estate, investments. So I think in that episode, let's talk about America. Like,
it's a good idea.
Like the Big Apple.
Mm-hmm.
And this is your chocolate, the Big Apple for you, if you want. So the question, I want to know more about financial risk and investment in general. I'm not sure that I've even had the tools. Nobody teach it in school. I'm an orphan since I was 15 years old, so I'll be happy to get some tools. It was my translate to the Hebrew question. I think it was the best translate ever. So hi, Shai.
Okay.
Who are you? Yeah.
Okay, so hi everyone, I'm Shai, and I've been in America since 2010. I used to play basketball whenever I was young and beautiful, and I got a
because now he's not.
Yeah, no.
I think that even the flamenco fall in love with you now.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So I came to America as a basketball player. I got a full scholarship to play for a school in Florida. And in my sophomore to junior year in college, I started to invest in real estate. And it's all started because at a very young age, I understood that I'm not really the type of a guy that can go to an office, like 9 to 5. I hate to be told what to do. I have like this little problem that many times I think that I know better.
I think that we also have the same thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it's,
I think we share the same problem.
I don't like people telling me what to do.
No.
Like, no.
Most-
What about you, Flango? What is it?
And also the idea that you work for 30, 40 years and you get a salary and at the same time you make your boss richer. It just didn't really sound too good to me. So I started to look at different alternatives. I started to look at the stock market and I learned it a little bit, and then I realized that I don't like the fact that I don't have a lot of control, if any control, on my money. I can invest with the biggest companies in the world, but I have absolutely no control where the market is going to go, and if they take decisions that can easily affect my money and the stock goes down, I didn't like that. And then I started to learn about real estate, and I read Poor Dad, Rich Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, which in my opinion is the Bible of all investments. Just
Wait, slowly. Tell more about it.
Yes.
The
Because
idea.
there are people who do not know it.
Okay, what did you guys say about the book?
No, I read it, and since my son-in-law is a relator in Israel, and this is his Bible.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
we know it, but there are people who do not know.
She know it. I'm going to read it because it's like the second time it popped into my face in Talk Walk. So I'm saying, okay, universe, you want me to read it? Okay, I got it. I'm going to read it because also Shachar spoke about the same book.
Yes.
You remember,
Okay, so it's time to...
It's a must. I think that it is a book that must be taught in elementary school. We can talk about all day long about all of the things that we never learned in school. I think that the biggest thing of them is financial and our finances.
exactly like the question that
Yes.
I'm really agree, and I also spoke about it in the other episode. The thing we do in school are so they're not telling us
connected
about
with the real...
anything about the real life.
Correct. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
Okay, mathematics. Okay, so 2 plus 2 equal
Yeah.
4. So
Right.
what? What can I go to the supermarket with this 4 right now? No, I
At
can't.
the age of 18, I can tell about myself that I had absolutely no knowledge about how taxes work, how insurance works, what am I supposed to do with my life? What am I supposed to do with my money? How do I make money? And Rich Dad Poor Dad tells you want to make sure that your money works for you. it's all about passive income. And I'm going to explain very, very briefly. In real estate, let's say that you buy a house, and I'm just gonna use run numbers because for the sake of the argument. Let's say that you buy a house for $100,000, and let's say that your mortgage is $70,000. Let's assume that you're paying, let's say, like $1,000 every month for your mortgage, and you have expenses for another $200 or $300. So your all in every month is let's say $1,300. And the same house that you bought for $1,000, that you bought for $100,000, your tenant pays you, let's say $1,800 every month. That means that your tenants pay your mortgage. He pays all of your expenses, meaning your property tax, your management.
You get another about 500.
Exactly. So
Can I stop you for just a second?
Yes.
Because I feel this is like the next level, like the song level up, level up. Where do you start? Like, can I ask you and feel like what do you want to share, what's not, you don't have to be you, do you, I appreciate you and your energy. But when you just arrived here, like when you was young, and you study, you play basketball, you didn't have a lot of income, right?
no, not at all. No.
How do you start when you don't have
So
the money? What do you think, what is your tips, like from your own journey that you can give people that, okay, understood, okay, I will go, I will read the book, but I don't have like the first step.
The practical tools.
right, absolutely.
How does it work if you want to start doing it? The mortgage, if you are not a citizen of the United States, how can you get mortgage?
Mhm.
Because
I'm going even, I'm not in the mortgage, I'm going even
Before.
I'm going even before, yeah,
Right.
if I'm taking you back to your,
find the
to
three
your
other
past life, when you were in the university. Wait a second, love, my love,
mama.
mama. Wait a second. And I'm like in the movie, like I'm watching the movie. I'm getting into when you were young, like this version of you, not this successful version of you. The whole point of this episode is to try to help people to break their old version, to become their better self.
Yes.
So if I want to help someone to become their better self, I can't show him who am I right now with Holly, with all the things that I did.
Right, it doesn't matter. Right.
How can I, where did I start? What was my thinking pattern?
Right.
What I did, because everybody do like different stuff, that I felt that helped me to break from my own routines, that helped me to become where I am today.
Right. Absolutely. So I'm gonna start with a few words about how I started, and then I will say what I think. If I was able to take myself 10 years earlier, what I would have done differently. So I started, the first house that I ever bought was in 2013, and houses were super, super, super cheap. It was when America just started to recover from the 2008 recession, and there was a lot of blood in the streets, meaning that people had no money, people were afraid. People didn't even want to touch real estate because so many people lost their houses. And I bought my first house for $29,000, and I was the only one to even make an offer on it. It was sitting on the market for quite some time, but it was
What made you decide to buy this house? Like,
It was
do you remember the first day or the night that you went to sleep and said, oh, you know what, I'm going to save some money right now, I'm going to buy a house. Take me there, tell me about that.
Again, going back to Rigid Ported, I fell in love with the idea of a passive income. I understood how it works, and I understood that this is probably the only way out of the rat race. From the moment that I decided that real estate is my new passion and I'm gonna go all the way, do whatever I can to be successful in real estate, I started to learn. And I learned let's say that I put like a couple of hours a day of what I studied in the university. And I probably spent 5 or 6 hours like listening to podcasts, like watching YouTube videos, reading books. I try to educate as much as I possibly can of myself. And now I can tell that I've probably made every mistake in the book.
Stop, this is lesson, but I
Even
want to take those beautiful words. This is what I wanted you to go. You see, the first tool to understand, we also spoke about it in the question, nobody teach it right, in school, but we can
Right.
become our own school.
100%.
Because
right.
he get up in the morning and he said, okay, yeah, this way, I can't. No, I'm taking responsibility on my life. Okay, school dead, the past is the past. I'm here right now, and I am opening my own school of investments. I am taking 2, 3, 4 hours a day, like he said, and I'm going to read books like that I brought. It actually is a funny story because it just waited for me outside my door after I was like, I thinking, okay, I want to do a lot of money, and I get up in the morning, and this waited for me. This is a funny universe story. I will read books, I will listen to episodes, I will study, I will educate myself because I have a goal. I decided that I'm going there. How can I get there? I can't get there in one day because nobody, it wasn't in school, right? So, first tool, become your own school. This is the first step of our together guide of the lazy investment. Continue. Yeah.
100%. It's all about education, and even when you think that you know enough, put your ego aside and understand that there is always so much more to learn. And
you talk about mistakes. That
everything.
I believe
It's
believe that the word have a power, even as a storytelling, even now that you are telling your story. And you said, I did every possible mistake. I want to change, if you want, for you, for us, for everyone, the story. Because I decided to go and learn, and I don't know anything about it, I made a lot of choices that if I knew the thing that I know today, I wouldn't make, so I can share it with you. And then I'm not lying to myself. I'm not saying, I did everything right. I'm such a perfect person. I'm so successful, right? I'm not lying to myself. But I'm not being rough with myself and telling myself my story. Oh, I did that, and did that. And it's a muscle, and we have to train this muscle because even if we are not aware of that, it creates emotion. And this kind of emotion walk with us. It's like our aura. And then maybe tomorrow I will not feel so much good with myself, and it's just because instead of hugging myself, oh, I'm such a man because I just opened my own F school and I sat on my ASS and read that and listened to that, and then I was F brave to go swim. Even I don't know how to swim, so maybe here I got bite by this shark, but I was brave. How many people can say that they were brave, right? We can never develop, we can never grow if you're not allowing ourselves to grow. But it's not enough. Because when we are allowing ourselves and we are brave, like he was really brave, we have to tell ourselves to be kind with ourselves. How do I tell my past to myself? Because I can tell it from a lot of angles. Because here I am sitting, listening to the story, and this is what I hear. A brave young man that didn't know anything. Your parents are teachers.
They're teachers, right?
Didn't have a clue. But it was so, it's like, okay, I don't like my life right now. Everybody's like, everything's so fast. Okay, what do I do? What do I do? Because I'm choosing to grow. And he did it by himself. He just jumped to the water, and it's important to take from that inspiration and to understand that if we want to grow, we will have challenging
100%.
situations and challenging results.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's
But
part
now,
of
what do you want to share? What do you want to share that you would do different, for example, about your investments? And
Oh my God, how much time do we have?
3 hours.
the Shama will tell us. For example.
The number one thing is that, again, put your ego aside and understand that, first of all, there is always someone who knows better than you, someone who is smarter than you, somewhere that you can learn from, because especially in real estate, in the real estate business, you have people with so much money, and their egos are just enormous, and they walk into the room, I already know everything, and today, that this is my world, this is what I do for a living, I see it all the time. This is the quickest and the easiest way to fall. The second that you know enough.
You felt that you had a lot of ego when you
At the beginning, absolutely.
And then what happened?
In a second, I'm gonna share it now. So, I started to do real estate. I was pretty successful the first 5 or 6 houses that I bought, and at some point I remember that I was on the plane to California, and you can buy properties online. It's an auction, and just like you would bid on something on eBay, you can bid on houses. You can bid on even on shopping centers today, online on your phone. And I was bidding on a fourplex, which is 4 units under the same roof, and I won the auction. And in my head, I was successful flipping 5 or 6 different houses. So I was like, you know what? I mean, I already know enough. I don't need to do my homework. So I was in California and I bid on it. And a week and a half after I closed on this property, I go to check it out for the first time. I go in. I walked the property with my contractor. It was a disaster. It was mold everywhere. The roof had to be replaced. So many different things. That was number one. Then I started to walk the neighborhood, and I realized that the neighbors starting to look at me like, who is this person? What is it doing here? And I happened to have a conversation with one of them, with the next door neighbor, and then he tells me, the police shut down the street because they used to smuggle a lot of drugs, and the next house, like in front of the property that I bought, it was a murder. Somebody shot one of the some of the neighbors lived there because they were trying to mug him or something, and there was a murder, so they had to it was a huge it was a disaster. And I remember that I told my contractor to stop everything. I called my realtor. I told her, I don't care how much I'm gonna lose, put this place on the market tomorrow.
Wow. It was on the same day.
On the same day, yeah. On the same day. The first time that I ever visited.
And someone bought it?
Someone bought it for about 20%, for about 80% of what I paid for it. So I lost a lot of money. I could have bought a brand new Mercedes.
But you bought a lot of lessons.
Oh, absolutely. So
you didn't lose your money. You invested your money on lessons.
Visit the place. You cannot buy it.
Two things that I've learned. First of all is do your homework. Do your homework. It is so important. I cannot stress this enough. Do your homework. Understand what you buy. Do inspections before you even close them. Before you even think about investing a dime. Speak to the neighbors, check the property, have an inspection, speak to the city, make sure that there is nothing bad going on. Understand the crime level in the area, understand the schools. Is it in a good school district? Is our people are moving in or moving out of the area? Businesses are moving out or moving in.
And how can you check that?
There are a lot of different softwares. You can.
There are companies that
yeah, there are companies, right?
Like insurance.
Yeah, it's very
how
easy.
You did it.
So the most important thing today is you can find all of the information online. You can find on Zillow, on Realtor.com, on all of those websites where you can check real estate.
By the way, in Israel, you have those kind of websites?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
You would know.
Another difference why we have the episode with Guy, and Guy said it's true. We're not judging. We're just putting another ways of looking stuff. Don't go buy a house in the state or over the sea before you buy in Israel, but it's not the only way, because we have here our star. He only invests here, and for example, here he can do his homework, and in Israel we don't have those kind of.
It is much easier to check all of those things here because everything is public records. You can
know.
know.
It's public records, and then you can know about the history of the house.
Right.
Very easily. Not like in Israel. In Israel,
Right.
it's a problem.
So maybe it's not true. Maybe your first investment should be overseas, because
Your
we are
first
hearing
investment
different opinions.
Where you're comfortable doing business, and I'll give you an example. So many people want to come and invest in America because the returns are higher, because the return on investment in Israel is let's say 4 or 5% if you're lucky,
If you're lucky.
Here, exactly. And here they're 7-8%. I want to give some food for thought for the audience. The number one thing, say that you're going to get 8% return on your money, but you will be terrified to invest here because you don't know the rules, you don't know the laws, you don't have any boots on the ground. Like if a tenant leaves or moves out, what are you going to do? Is it really worth the extra money that you'll be getting every month if you cannot sleep at night?
Yes,
Many times-
you must, and if you don't live here, you live here.
Right.
So it's another way of managing it. If you live in Israel and you invest in the United States, you must have someone that you trust
100%.
that
right.
can manage your thing. You cannot go and fly.
We're in a new like studios, and it's so uncomfortable that we have all this
מה זה
because it's
בא
like
לי
blocking the
להסביר?
energies, but this is what we found because we just.
אוקיי,
אוקיי.
זה ממש מזמן, אבל לא חשוב.
So you think, because of a question, you think if you are living in Israel and you want to invest here, but you don't have someone that can run it for you, you are not recommending.
It's complicated.
You're not recommending about that.
I would not try to buy property here in America unless I have someone, it can be a good friend, a family member, someone that I can trust who can manage the construction, who can manage the property, who can give me advice what needs to be done and what can be done, because in every state has its own rules. Every state is completely different. Like what you can do in Florida, you cannot do in New York.
And also the maintenance. After you do all the checkups, and it's a great deal, and you bought
Right.
it, and you have a great tenant, things change.
Absolutely.
In Israel, when you have real estate and the tenant goes out, and you have to punish it, and so you know what to do. You're
Right.
You're on the place. You're on the spot. You can do it. Here, you must have someone who can do it for you if you want it to be done normally.
Also, this episode like becoming really, really important, especially now because of the things in Israel that it's hard for all of us to hear about. And let's speak a bit about the rules. If you don't have a citizen, right? You can, by the way, you can open an American company, LLC, and then you can open a company account. Okay, it's an option. I know a lot of my friends started to speak with me about a lot of things since the situation in Israel are becoming like party, not in a good way. So you should know there is an option to invest. We're not going inside if it's good or not. We hear Shai's opinion, but you should know, first of all, you can open an American company even if you don't have a residence or whatever. You don't have to get married. You can run your company from the state. You can invest as a company, right?
Right.
And so it's a person for me to put it here for you to know
Right.
that.
I'm going to expand on that. So first of all, that's exactly right. You do not have to be an American citizen or an American resident if you want to do business here. There are a lot of different ways as a foreign investor to do business here. I'm not an attorney. This is not a legal advice. What you want to do is you want to open an LLC. Probably at the same state that you buy property. The only caveat to that is that if you were to get a loan from a bank, some banks do not allow foreign citizens to take a loan with them, and those who do, usually the interest rates and the terms are not as favorable if you were an American citizen.
There is a thing that's called named credit.
Right.
Yes.
And we don't have it in Israel, guys, but here in America they have. It's like,
They started to do it like תעודת
It's
זהות
like-
בנקאית. It's
what
like
kind of a person are you? It's like the action that you do, if you have criminal background, if you pay your bills in time. I think it's part of the organization because there's so many people, so you want to like save order. So I think it makes sense because unfortunately we have bad people in the world and we have good people in the world.
Right.
So it's complicated and we're not going to go down to all the small details and we are not lawyers.
no, because
But you should know
everyone
there is-
should check his own deal about it.
Yeah, we're just putting because
Also, there are private loans. But there are
Right.
also
They're
private
a lot more
loans that
expensive.
yes, they are
Yeah.
more expensive, but there are private loans.
Okay, you know that, I know that. Let's explain that. In America, for example, can you explain more about that from your own experience?
Yeah, so you can go to a bank and you can go to what you call hard money loans. Those are not banks, that are not financial institutions. They're usually either private people or private institutions that would lend money to people with either bad credit or people that are foreigners, or people that are just trying to get like a quick loan and they don't have the time to go through like the traditional banking institution. Usually, if you would get in today's market, if you were to get 6.5-7% interest from a bank, if you go to a hard money lender, they would probably charge you between 11 to 12%, which gets very, very expensive very fast. At the same time, if it's a good deal, this is how I started. I started like...
Tell. I want you to tell your story, like the real story.
So at the beginning, I had no credit. I had, zero income pretty much. All I had was just my savings from whenever I used to work at a little sports shop in Israel. So things were very challenging for me.
This is the beautiful thing about life. Like, people sometimes look about successful people, for example, and think it went so easy for them, but they don't have any idea what thing, what emotion, what challenging things this person went through, because it's easy for us we want to feel better with ourselves. So if I'm looking about this successful guy or woman, it doesn't matter, and we'll say, okay, it's easy for her because she grew up in that family or she had that, so for sure she went that. But no, guys, first of all, I recommend don't judge anyone. You can never know what a person went through. Second of all, it doesn't matter. And third of all, believe me, everybody has challenges in life.
100%, right.
So you start working on a small.
So as soon as I discharged, probably like a couple of months before discharge from the Israeli army, I started working for a small sports shop in Israel. I used to like sell shoes, sell like sports clothing, and this is how I saved enough money to buy my plane ticket to America, and I saved enough money to have in my pocket. And every time, whenever I used to go to Israel over the summer for the summer break, I used to do the same. At some point, I got my what is it called, the gym certificate? No, like a personal trainer certificate, right? And I started to save some more money.
So I didn't know it about you. Like you were like, wow, brother, that's cool. Maybe we should take Mama to do some push-ups.
We should, yeah.
I can't believe it. So because I saw a story, someone take me to the gym, please. You lose your passion for that?
It's not that I lost my passion. It's I became so lazy, and I've been traveling so much, and it's just not a priority anymore.
Amazing. So now we will speak about NLP, for example, if we continue our spiritual tools. If I'm saying to myself, I am lazy or I am become lazy, I will be lazy because I am taking my mind and I'm setting it there. So I can say the same thing. I don't have to say, okay, I am in love with the gym and start to lie to myself. But I can say, because I started to travel more and I used to have a different life, it became challenging for me to take myself to the gym.
To find the strength and motivation.
And then I'm leaving myself a place to grow, because it's not like, okay, I'm lazy. It's challenging for me. I'm still working
to change it.
To go more. It's important to know that about our computer. He has so many power. Okay, continue. Let's talk about money.
So I saved some money, and the first house that I ever did, it was a hard money loan, terrible terms. At the same time, this is how you start, like I was very lucky to buy my first house for $29,000, and then I bought my second house for $22,000, and those numbers...
You were afraid?
Of course, I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified.
You slept during the nights?
Not really. No, not at the beginning.
What thoughts went through your head?
What am I doing? Am I doing the right thing? Like, why is it taking so long to find a tenant? Why is it taking so long to finish the construction? And it was the first time that I ever did.
I bought houses that had to be constructed, and they were not finished?
No, they were in a terrible condition.
So we have to fix them.
Exactly, yeah. I had to spend some money to fix them.
And what is better? You think that it's better to buy a house that you have to fix? You can gain more than you buy a regular house.
If you buy it right,
if you buy it right.
exactly. If you buy, it's a numbers game. At the end of the day, real estate is nothing but a numbers game. If you buy it right and you buy it at a good discount, and most of the time, the only reason that somebody would sell it to you at a discount is just because the house or the property
It's on the
needs a lot
market
of
a lot
work.
of time.
Exactly. And the houses that I bought were in very bad condition. And that's why I got them for such a good discount. And even today that I buy properties for millions of dollars, it's the same. Like nothing changes.
Yes,
In my
only
opinion,
Only the numbers.
exactly.
The number of the zeros.
For example, I just closed in November. So that was like 4 months ago. I closed in a warehouse in Florida that I bought it for $1.5 million. And today I can sell the same property for more than $3 million. And one of the reasons that I bought it so cheap is because of the condition. It was very poorly managed. The tenants were like friends of the owner, so he gave them a very good discount. He didn't do anything to the property for like over 20 years. So that's what I do. I go in, I clean it out, I create value, I force equity, and then I sell it for more. So probably whenever we'll be done with this project in about 3 or 4 months, we can sell it for probably 3.8 million.
Yes, and go
But-
on.
You said we, right? You work with.
I have partners, yeah. On
What,
this
what do you think about that? This is, I think somebody also write it, and it's really interesting. Like, what do you think about
Partnership in
partnerships
real estate.
about real estate?
They're
And-
great, but you have to understand that you're gonna kiss a lot of frogs before you find your Prince Charming. That's the way it works.
If I don't want to kiss any frog,
Then don't even look for partners.
there's no like
That's
I can
all-
kiss like stories.
You can try. It's not gonna be the.
So you kiss the frog.
Absolutely,
How was that?
few frogs.
a few of them, right? And we can talk about business partners. We can talk about lawyers. Like we can talk about investors. In the way that I see it, it's all the same. You have to have a team. This is not a one-man show. It doesn't matter how good you are. This is not a one-man show. You're gonna have to have a good contractor. You're gonna have to have a good CPA, a good lawyer, a good partner, a good investor, a good lender, a good property manager, a good construction manager. So it's a whole team that you have to build. If you think that you're gonna go in and I'm gonna do everything by myself, either you're gonna burn yourself out very, very shortly, or you're not gonna be successful. Because there is not, and even if you can do everything so good, you only have 24 hours a day. So going back to your partners, what you want to do is, and I'm talking about business partners for now. You want to find someone who is going to complete you, and I'm going to explain. If I'm a people's person, meaning that I feel very comfortable to talk to people, to negotiate, to be out there. I don't want to have a partner who has the same skill set like me. I want to have a partner who is very good with numbers, for example, who can underwrite the deal, who can analyze the numbers, who can talk to the bank, who will be
On the background.
exactly, yes. Those are the best partnerships that I've seen, and you can even look at people that are stepping on each other's toes because I want to be in the front. I want to be the face of the company. It doesn't work. This is the perfect recipe for a disaster.
Yeah, it makes sense, but also you have to work on trust issues.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny because you were in the Khatonomí,
Yeah.
and all these 90 magical seconds that you talked from passion, it was really, really nice to listen to you. It's like in a marriage.
Yeah.
It's like the same.
That's what I thought now. That it's exactly like in a marriage, in a good marriage, when you can find someone who completes you, but in a marriage, it's this is from from
My marriage.
experience, not my marriage, but my experience.
As a lawyer.
It's sometimes you are getting attracted not to the opposite, to someone who is like you, because easier.
Right.
Because, it's like me, so I love him because I love myself. And then it's getting boring.
Yeah,
Because-
and sometimes you fall in love with a person because you're really attracted to some character that you have in yourself and you didn't find it yet. But we are not in a marriage. We're in this, money marriage. They're all
This is
combined.
another podcast.
But before I will go to the question from home.
One more
Sure.
One more quick thing about partnerships. Everything must be in writing. Everybody knows marriage is beautiful, divorce is big. Same in partnerships. Before you even start doing business together, you want to have a legal document. It's called an operating agreement. And you want to agree in writing who is doing what. And if
All the details.
things, exactly, all of the details, as detailed as possibly can. And the second thing that you want to do is say that the partnership doesn't work. How do you?
Separated.
Exactly. Yes. Very important.
This is
and
very
it's
important.
it makes me think about another point. Before I'm starting to invest, I need to know about needs, about communication. Maybe I need to develop my communication skills and my knowledge about brain before I even start to think about the money world. Because you see, we are hearing from Shai that it's a teamwork.
100%.
And a teamwork is another world. Because in a teamwork, and it doesn't matter if a teamwork is a marriage, even a daughter and a mother, you have a lot of things that you have to know in order to make this partnership flows and work with love and good vibration. Even to separate things, it's okay. But
Yeah, sometimes things don't work and it's perfectly fine. It's part of life. But you want to make sure that you know beforehand how you're going to separate things, how you're going to end things. It's just like a prenup. If we're
Yes, even though in real estate it's easier to make partnerships because it's not like managing grocery that
Right.
You have to check the numbers every day in the cashier. It's something that you put money in, and as long as you agree on the big decisions,
right.
and then if the money is you get the returns back, you just split it according to your
Sure,
partnership
right.
and your
Yep.
shares, and so it's easier. I
Right.
think because this is the only way that I can suffer a partner in business because it's very
the
easy.
power of a word. To choose my relationship with a partner,
Yes.
right? Because
Choose.
if you want to grow and invest in America, you should choose your words. And
No.
before I'm going
So
to...
you understand it. You must have partners.
So
cannot
you
do
have a
it
lot of
yourself.
work on your belief about partnership and stuff before you
That's
start to
it.
invest here.
Yes.
My dear mom, beloved.
Yeah.
But it sounds to me that you spoke from your heart, and you had a bad partnership
Yes.
without. If you want to
Of course.
share, because I think we can gain a lot of inspiration from that.
I'm not gonna give much details.
Don't give the
because-
names.
No,
Just,
no, absolutely
just
not.
the thing that you expected or where you got hurt or whatever.
Disappointments.
Like the lessons from that.
So a few years ago, it was many years ago actually, it was maybe 7-8 years ago, I worked on a project with this guy, and we agreed on a 50-50 split. And I had the experience. He had absolutely no idea about real estate. He had never invested before. But he was a friend of a friend, and we agreed to do something together. And what happened is that I did probably 99% of the work, and he didn't do much because he didn't know what to do. The only thing that was done was just the very, very basic and easy things. And at the end, we couldn't agree on anything because he came from a different perspective. He didn't understand how things work. And because this is what I did for a living, and we did make money at the end of the project, but at the same time, it left me with a very, very bad taste in my mouth.
Mhm.
That after this project, I told myself, I don't ever want to do another partnership. And it took me some years until I gained the confidence in people again. And only then I realized and I learned how real partnerships work and that you have to have the hard conversation up front.
Yes, that because in real estate, it's like having partners. It's like getting money from the bank that you don't bring it from from your house, and it lets you grow up easier and faster.
Right.
Because if you have to do it yourself with your own money or your 24 hours a day,
Right.
you cannot gain the same
Leverage.
Yes,
Right.
this is why you must have partners, but it is very challenging to find the right ones.
You use the word or the expression the hard conversation.
Right.
What is hard conversation for you?
The hard conversation is going to be what happens if things don't work. Who is doing what? Who is not doing anything? If we're to get a divorce, who is taking the kids? Who is taking the house? Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
So when you
And-
started to partnership again, you did it?
Oh, absolutely. Now in every property, every project that we work, we always have
A special agreement.
and the operating agreement. It's a very long agreement, probably like 50, 60 pages, that we know exactly what happens in each scenario. And we also know if I was, God forbid, if I was to leave this earth, what happens to my share. If my partner, something happens to her and she's incapable of doing business, what happens? You want to know all of those things up front.
And you do it with the LLC.
You do everything is with an attorney. Everything
No,
is
when you buy the property, you don't buy it as share.
no, never.
You buy it
No,
as
right.
an LLC
Yeah,
that belongs to you or your partners.
yeah. The LLC belongs to the partnership. I don't ever buy anything under my own personal name. Again, I'm not an attorney. I'm just gonna explain the very general idea.
It's your story as well, so it's okay.
If you buy a property under your personal name, and let's say that you're worth $50 million. Okay, let's say that you're very wealthy, and you bought a house under your personal name, and the tenants falls in your house, and they break their leg, and now they have a lot of medical bills, blah blah blah. They're going to find an attorney who is going to find you, who will be able to sue you under everything that you have, and it can get very very messy the wealthier you are. If you were to buy the same property under an LLC and the only asset of this LLC is only the property that is only worth $100,000,
That's what they can get.
exactly. But again,
This
you
is
have
a matter of
mortgage.
risks. Yes.
Exactly.
This is the
Liability
the
protection.
liability protection of
Right.
LLC. That's what
Right.
Feynman explained to us.
Amazing, and
Yeah.
now we're going to hit you with questions, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
will give you, because we are 11 minutes, I will give you the honor of the queen, because you didn't invest in America yet. If you want to ask questions, before I'm going to the question from
I
home.
asked a realtor now about this mortgage thing here to understand if it's possible to get a mortgage for someone who is not does not have credit and in the United States.
A legal
And-
status. Yes.
And she told me that it is possible to get 65% from
Right.
the
Loan
property
to value. Yes.
on about 6.5 percent.
Right.
So I wonder if this is what you know also, and
I haven't done a residential deal for a very long time, so I really don't know. My word is 100% commercial. It sounds very generous to me, 65 loan to value and 6.5% interest. In the commercial world, I don't see those numbers.
no,
It's-
this is only for when you.
Residential.
So this is another question.
Another question also, the guys from home said, why residential or
No,
not?
why residential or commercial?
Why is it different? Why, for example, you only do
What is
commercial?
better? What do you think
What
is
is
better
your point of
for
view?
investment?
And why?
Okay, I will gladly speak about that. I think that it's very interesting, and many people at home can learn a few things about it. So let's start with the definitions. Residential is, of course, houses, apartments, everything that is 4 units or less. Okay, every 5 units or more, it's considered to be commercial. In commercial, we also have retail, which is shopping centers, strip centers, malls, all of that. We have office buildings. We have industrial, which is my favorite.
Just a minute. So if you buy like a condo,
Mhm.
it's more than 4 units, it's considered commercial?
If you buy a building and the building has 4 apartments, it is residential. If you buy a building that has 5 apartments, it's considered to be commercial. This is the definition.
Okay.
And in Israel, it's not. like that.
No.
So you see
Yeah.
another difference for you.
Yeah, we don't
That's why I
have.
wanted to.
There is a lot of differences between
Okay, so
investment
then-
in Israel and the States.
So what is better, your opinion?
In my opinion, commercial. It's so much easier. So much easier. And I'll give an example. If you want to flip a house, right? You have to do so much work. You have to fix the kitchen. You have to do that. You have to do this. And then someone goes in, oh, I don't like the kitchen. I don't want to do that. You know, like, oh, like, and it's full of emotions. If you want to buy a house from someone, they raise their kids in this house. They have so many memories. Their price is here, but the market is here. And many times you can never get to an agreement, and it has nothing to do with like where the market is, because in their eyes, like it's oh, this is like the most beautiful house on the planet. In
That's a
commercial,
cool point of view.
it's all numbers.
מעניין.
All numbers. And I'll give you an example. The way that I analyze a commercial deal, and it doesn't matter if it's retail, if it's like 200 unit apartment, if it's an office building, it's by how much income this property generates. And I'll give an example. Let's say that I buy an apartment complex that generates $500,000 in gross income every year. Let's say that my expenses are $200,000, so that means that my net operating income (NOI) is $300,000. This is my net income before I pay the mortgage. I take the $300,000 and I divide it by the return on investment. In the professional world, we call it cap rate of the area. Let's say that if I'm buying something here in Miami that it's an area with a lot of demand, I will be getting let's say 5%. Okay, so what is 300,000 divided by 5? I cannot do it in my head.
600.
Let's say 6.
NX.
Let's say it's going to be worth 6 million.
6.
Okay, 6. Bro, I cannot do numbers in my
Yeah.
head.
It's not right.
Let's say that I buy the same apartment complex in Mississippi in a bad neighborhood that not many people want to live. The same 300,000 income, but over there I'm not gonna buy it for a 5 cap. I'm gonna request much more my money. Over there is gonna be 10%. Okay, so over there is gonna be it's gonna be worth 3 million. Okay, you see, this is how we value a commercial property. So what I'm doing, I'm actually buying income. How do you make money in commercial real estate? The same $500,000 that a property is generating today, maybe it's not the best potential, right? And I'll give an example. The owner bought a property 50 years ago and he hasn't raised the rents in 20 years. So if I was to renovate the building and I bring the rents up to market, maybe now I can generate 800,000 in rents. And it happens all the time. So all of a sudden I raised my let's say that I bought a building for 3 million. I put in on $1 million in renovating the building, and I was lucky in a couple of years to raise all of the rents to market. And now instead of $500,000, I'm getting 800,000. Let's say that all of my expenses grew up as well. So now instead of 300, it's 350. So I'm taking the 800 minus the 350, right? So
And you get more.
Exactly.
Yes.
This is how you make money in real estate. And the same example that I was giving earlier, that I bought the property for $1.5 million 4 months ago, and today it's worth more than 3 million. This is exactly what I did. I renovated the building. It cost me almost 200,000, and I was able to sign longer leases with better tenants at market rents, and that's the way it works.
But when you started, it was a single apartment, yes? Or a single
I started in houses, yes.
in house, a single house.
Exactly. And another good things about commercial that it's not as management intensive. So that I have a house and something breaks. I'm responsible to fix it. If the kitchen breaks, if the toilet breaks, if the AC doesn't work, I'm on the hook to replace it, to fix it. In commercial, in a warehouse, I'm responsible for the roof and the structure. That means that everything inside the box is under the responsibility of the tenant. So
Why
even
is
if
it
the
so?
total-
In Israel, it's not like this.
that's the way it works.
Yes?
That's the way it works. And the leases are longer. Instead of a 1 year lease, you get at least a 3 or 5, even maybe 10 year leases. You work with professionals. There are absolutely no emotions. It's all about numbers. And residential, it's unscalable, meaning that if you want to get, and I'm gonna give another example in a second. If you want to get to a big portfolio, it's going to take you so many years. It's going to take you a lot of energy and a lot of time. And the same warehouse that I bought for $1.5 million, I was able to sign with a construction company as a tenant. They were paying me $14,000 every month, plus all of the expenses of the property. And they are responsible for everything, meaning that I get absolutely zero maintenance. Now, let's think how many houses and how many apartments do I need to get to the same 14,000 net income every month? How many roofs do I need to fix? How many toilets do I need to fix? How many different tenants do I have that don't pay on time?
I
The
see.
bottom line-
What you say is if you don't need an apartment or a house to live in
Right.
the United States, and you are looking for investments, look after the commercial ones.
If I could go back in time and talk to myself 10, 11 years ago, I would have told myself start in commercial, skip residential. It's great, it's nice, everybody understands it, that is 110% right. Everybody needs a place to live.
True sign. Maybe
Everybody
you're right.
needs-
Maybe David Amela said, "Oh, you're the king now. You're right.
No.
This is true. Use this tip."
It is much more complicated. It's a completely different animal. If I could go back and tell myself, go to commercial, skip residential. I don't want to say it's a waste of time because it helped me a lot, but if you can focus just on that.
And I will tell you a few things. First of all, I'm so happy that I brought you because I went through these questions. Like 99% of them, you just gave it. You gave the answer. You definitely have a lot of knowledge, but you also know
How
to
to
give
do,
it.
how to
Sometimes people have a lot of
Thank
knowledge
you.
and they don't know how to give it, or they give it not in a way that can really help, like not in a tool way. So I really enjoyed, and I want to thank you for that. Second of all, you will never go to your old self and tell yourself, go through that, because when we have pain, when we have lessons, we grow,
Right.
we're getting stronger. I think that the fact that you're here with such a song present connected a lot to the journey that you went with those houses, blah, 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 blah. So just hug yourself, I think. and-
Whenever I say if I could go back 10 years ago, I don't necessarily mean that I'm regretting what I've done. I'm very thankful for my path. I'm targeting my words towards the audience, the ones that are listening to us, the ones that
to give
haven't started.
the correct tips for now.
So
Exactly.
I will hug the flamingo because I love just to speak about hugs, but hug yourself anyway, doesn't matter. And we will finish with, because we have to finish because we have another guest. There is one question that you didn't answer. Why real estate and not other investment? And if you do invest in other things except of real estate? This is one question.
It did answer
Half an answer.
Yes.
Let's
So-
be specific.
I really understand. First of all, I really believe in hard assets, meaning that you can physically touch it, and land. It is probably the only commodity that you can ever produce more of. This is number one. The second thing is that the rest of the alternative investments, like crypto or even bonds or stock market, you have absolutely no control over. So this is as far as that. If I invest in other things, I do. I did invest in the past in an energy company and also medical cannabis in Michigan. But I've made a decision that I'm not going to invest in anything that I fully understand how it works. And there is only so much we can do. There is only so many things that we can learn. I would much rather focus on what I understand and what I know.
You choose a niche, not
A niche, right.
To be specific and to develop something with the same order. That's interesting. Thank you. Did you read that?
Of course.
What do you
Such
think
a
about
good
that?
book. It's a must.
So I'm going to close this episode with it's a must. It's called Unshakable, your financial freedom playbook. Creating peace of mind in a world of, what is that?
Vitality.
Okay, I don't know this word. Here I am. Allow myself to say that I don't know this word. What is that in Hebrew?
Wow.
vitality. מה זה vitality?
Vitality is...
vitality?
Now I feel better because,
Vitality.
as you see, I am the youngest here and they don't know. Anyway, I'm using that because we can gain a lot of knowledge about a lot of things, or we can say, okay, I don't know anything about it, so I will leave it. So there is a way to each goals all the time. There is a way to stop being single. There is a way to stop being unsuccessful. But the power is in our hands, and we have to understand that. I'm going to read that because it waited for me and I still didn't read it. And now we said it's a must. And then I will let you know there is plays, like games inside or not.
No.
So
it's a very, very good guide of what... It gives you a lot of education and a lot of knowledge of how the financial system works.
I want to thank you
Thank you.
about all of your knowledge. And I will finish with last question. If I would meet you when you were young, you said you want to be a basketball player, right? Do you still play basketball?
Not as much anymore because my ACL is torn.
Interesting. Okay. What is your biggest dream? To have like $7 million or to be a father?
Wow. I say that I'm living the dream. I would not want to change anything of what I'm doing right now. I'm exactly where I am, and I'm very happy and fortunate to be where I am. I don't have any like big dreams or like once my life will be 1, 2, 3, 4. No, not at all.
You want to be a father?
Maybe.
Cool. You want to be a husband?
Yes, that 100% I do. Yes.
So there are books for that as well. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.